Hi guys, and welcome back to the Indie Hideout. Today we're going to be looking at a game called Zeno Clash. Okay, so Zeno Clash was developed by ACE Team or ACE Team in 2009, and it was the first ever game they'd made. The development team originally actually started off as a mod developer, and they made mods for games like the old Doom and Quake, that kind of thing. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the game itself. It's an FPS that's built on the Source engine, and as a result of that it feels really nice to play. The game was originally released for the PC, but now you can pick up a copy on the Xbox 360 through Xbox Live Arcade. They also brought us a game called Rock of Ages, which you might have heard of, and that was released like really recently in 2011. And they also announced that they're going to be releasing Zeno Clash 2. Which will be coming out sometime next year. I don't think it's actually got an official release date, but I'm pretty sure it was 2013 that they said it was coming out. So I'm looking forward to that, and that's definitely going to be on my shopping list. Our main protagonist is a chap called Gat, who kicks, shoots, and just beats the shit out of everything on his journey through this bizarre and crazy land. The game follows a pretty basic but interesting storyline, which takes you through current time as well as flashbacks to try and explain the events that occurred at the start of the game. The first thing that really stood out to me in Zeno Clash was just how fantastic the game looked. The environments are rich with colour, and the creativity makes this like really bizarre world really believable. Even the opponents that Gat faces tend to be repeated a lot throughout the game, which normally really annoys me, but I didn't find myself being bothered by it too much in this because there was just so much detail on the characters, and every time you saw them you would notice something new about the model, as they were like trying to pummel you to death. And also the game's pace is almost perfect, so it also like makes it less noticeable that stuff's being repeated. It doesn't feel like a grind or anything. My only annoyance with the pace of the game is I wish I could spend more time on some of the levels because they were really nice. One of my favourites would have had to be in the desert level with the weird creatures on it. It was so cool. And if you've ever played Zeno Clash, why not pop a comment below, let me know which level you like the most or which weapon you like the most, even better, because I really like the weapons. I'll get into that later, but well, I have a number one weapon as well. So yeah, post comment, let me know. I'm going to be honest, some of the enemies needed some cream for rashes in certain areas. Yeah, some of the characters had a little bit too much detail on. Oh my god, what the fuck is wrong with his penis? What the fuck? That is kind of gross. Okay, let's talk about the weapons in the game for a little bit. So, the weapons, there isn't that many to talk about, but they were designed really nicely, and a lot of creativity went into making these weapons, I can tell you that. So you got the basic melee weapons. You only had two. You only got the bone club, which is self-explanatory, and you had a giant hammer. So they were pretty basic, but they still looked nice. But the ranged weapons really blew me away. You had dual pistols, which were made from bits of fish with like bolts and little metal mechanical parts to make it work. And you could see all these parts moving and things and working when you fight and reload. What else did we have? We had the grenade gun, which that was really good. I think that was my second favourite weapon. That was just badass. You had the musket, and I was quite a fan of the way you reloaded that. You had like a little rod that you would reload it with. You had normal grenades, which was basically just exploding the skull. And my favourite was the two-shot crossbow, which you actually loaded with shrunken heads and then just launch them at your enemy and take them out. It was, oh man, that was awesome. You've got to use the crossbow. The minor characters were quite interesting as well. They had little quirks that made them interesting. They didn't really hang around much in the game. You didn't really see them. You maybe should fight them once or something, and sometimes you wouldn't even find them at all. But they had these little quirks. For example, you had one guy who wants to be invisible. So what does he do? Does he get an invisibility cloak or something? Nope. He simply just rips the eyes out of anyone who looks at him. So yeah, that's kind of creepy. And you had another guy who I was quite a fan of. He was quite a cool little character. It reminded me of the robot out of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And yeah, he just walked in straight lines and never changed direction. And you found the poor little bugger at one point just walking, and he'd walk straight into a like a big stone pillar, and he just was stuck. I really like little attention to detail things like that in games. It just adds a little something to a character rather than it just being like a boss fight or a unique model in the background or something like that. I really didn't have any problems with the game, to be honest. There was a few things like the pace of the game was being a bit too quick, and I would like to spend a bit more time on some levels. But you know, another thing was the timed blocks and the timed attacks. I couldn't quite pull them off sometimes. They seemed to be a bit random. But whether that was the game's fault or if I just suck at the game, it's really up for debate. So yeah, it's definitely a game worth checking out. I've put a link in the description below, so if you want to go jump over, have a look at the game, there it is. And if you enjoyed the video, you've got time, why not subscribe? I would really appreciate it. And yeah, till next time guys, see you later. Oh yeah, actually I almost forgot that I opened up I made a new page on Facebook for the Indie Hideout. If you want to jump in the Indie Hideout channel, there's a link in there for it. Also, next time we'll be checking out a game called I think that's how you pronounce it, which was suggested by Vince Fryer. So thanks for sharing that, and definitely stay tuned for that game because that looks awesome.